السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. مرحبا بكم أيها الطلاب الكرام. اليوم سنأخذ درسا جديدا وهو الدرس الرابع عشر. Today we get to take a new lesson and it is lesson 14. Now, الآن هناك أشياء كثيرة. There are many things here. جديدة, new. لابد من التركيز. You must pay attention. We're going to read the first part, which mainly discusses how you do ta'aruf. Ta'aruf means how to get to know someone. So this is what it looks like. At-ta'aruf. And this is how you start a conversation with somebody to get to know them. This is called ta'aruf. If you see the ayn, ra, fa, these right here, they share a similarity with the verb arafa. Not arafa like the place where people go to make dua during Hajj, but this means to know. Okay, or not to know, but he knows. And in it, you are getting to know at-ta'aruf, someone. Now, let's go ahead and read. لنبدأ ونقرأ. قال الدرس الرابع عشر الفتية السلام عليكم حامد وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته. There are a lot of different ways to greet people. Sometimes you'll find that the normal one that everyone uses is Assalamu alaikum. People say things like Hala. People say things like marhaba, right? Different places, they'll just use a lot of different greetings, but the normal one that we're going to use is Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. This is the ta'aruf of the Muslimin. Then he says, Kayfa haluka ya ammi. Kayfa haluka is the normal way to say, how are you? Kayfa, halu, and here I'm going to start using some different colors to help you see the different dhamir. Kayfa haluka. This dhamir here in red, you're going to change it based off of who you're speaking with. Kayfa, halu, we said the word hal, right? It's going to mean status. Also, like if you say, in some regards, it might mean the side, all right? Like if you say fil hal athani, like on the other end or the other side. But here is kayfa, how, haluka, how are you? If you change this to kayfa halu hu, and you end it with, let's say, you have the lam, kayfa haluhu. How is he doing? Kayfa haluha. Right? And this lam is not part of the dhamir, it's part of this. Kayfa haluhum. Right? You have lam, ha, mim. It will change to who you are talking to. أو سيتغير على حسب المخاطب. This will change based on who you're talking to or talking about. Sometimes you can get rid of this entirely or the dhamir entirely by, you see this word here? Instead of saying haluka and adding something here, some people say kayfa al hal. And then it'll end with a question mark. So you take this word kayfa and you have al-hal. So they might say, قَدْ يَقُولُونَ كَيْفَ الْحَالِ. All right? This is also usable. How is the status? How is your situation? Okay? Now, there are a lot of different ways to greet. This is just one of the ways. هناك طرق كثيرة للتعارف. هذه طريقة واحدة. This is just one way. If you were to ask about how's your day, how's your dad, how's whatever, it would come after كيف. All right? So let's say you get rid of كيف الحال or كيف حالك and you put the word يوم. There's a meme and we're going to attach it to someone. كيف يومك? How is your day? رأيتم? So a lot of things can change after here, right? And really it's pretty expansive. ولا نريد نتوسع كثيرا. We'll stop there on كيف حالك or كيف الحال. All right? We have حالك. You're talking to somebody, you say كيف حالك. ثم بعد ذلك, after that, he says كيف حالك يا عمي. أنا بخير. That's your response. You don't have to say أنا, but you can if you want to. You say أنا بخير والحمد لله. بخير is made up of two things. باء حرف جر and the word خير. It will end in كسرتين because of the باء. Normally it's خير. خير means something that is good. You know when you say جزاك الله, this ba is not there. They say خيرا. There's an alif at the end because it's being gifted, so it ends in فتحتين, which is called مفعول به, which we'll take later on. So خير means good, and when you add this ba to it, you say بخير. It means in good, but we don't use the word when somebody asks you in English, how are you? You don't say, or you're at least linguistically not supposed to say, I am good. You're supposed to say, I am well. So, when you say بخير, it is the equivalent of saying, I am well. And then you know what alhamdulillah means. Alhamdulillah means, praise be to Allah. Next, كيف حالكم من أنتم. Now you will see why I have these two things up here. هناك ضمائر. هناك ضمائر. There are pronouns. مرفوعة, ضمائر الرفع, وضمائر النصب والجر. There are ضميرs, that's English Arabic, ضمائر, that they only come in a مرفوع situation. So for example, you have, actually, you know what? I'm going to use all my colors this time. The black one will be for the غائب, and then we'll use مخاطب, and then we'll use متكلم. So you have هو, هي, هم, هن, هما. That's dual. Now, over here you have أنت, أنتي, أنتم, أنتن. Oops, there's a tat here. And أنتما. Dual form. And we're not going to take dual form just yet. And lastly, you have the متكلم, speaker. نكتب المتكلم. أنا and نحن. All right. غائب, third person. مخاطب, second person. متكلم, first person. These, they come when the person is doing an action, or they come if they're mubtada or khabar. So if I'm doing something or I'm the mubtada or the khabar, you're going to use one of these. If the dhamir is attached to a harf jar, or it is mudafun ilay, correct? Or something is happening to it. And those are the three reasons we're taking now. For here, when do I use the nasb and jar, right? And this is, by the way, when it comes to, well, we should just include that. If it's attached to a verb, if he's doing something, right? It will be one of these. But if he's doing something and the fa'il is attached to the verb, it also comes marfu'. Remember how when we said dhahaba, right? Who's doing the verb or who's doing the action? It's not shown, but it's huwa. On this one, dhahabat, the ta is a symbol of who's doing the action, but it's not the one who's doing it, it's hiya. When hum comes in, who is the one doing the action? The one doing the action is when you add, I'm going to put it in parentheses, when you add a waw. Oh, it's waw alif. And who's doing the action when it is a group of women? It is a noon. You say dhahabna. All right? These ones we're not taking because we haven't taken them before and we're not going to take them now. Now, next, who's doing the action when it is on dhahabta? You put the ta there. Who's doing the action when it's on anti? Dhahabti. Who's doing the action when it is antum? You say dhahabtum. Tunna. All right? Now, if it is on its own, anta dhahabta. You see, anta came before. It's telling you that he's the one who's doing the action and that came in a marfu' state. All right? For these, it's dhahabtu, dhamma, and this might be a little bit small, and dhahabna. All right? These are also connected, but they're still marfu'. They're connected, but they're marfu'. Okay? And we're going to put this here. It's not the fa'il, but it's just the symbol of who's doing it. So, dhama'ir al-raf', they tell you who's doing the action, or if it's going to come like being as the mubtada or the khabar. Over here on this side, we're going to use the black one for the ghaib, the red for the mukhatab, and the green for the mutakallim. On this side, when it's connected, it would be something like, we're going to use the word kitab, right? Kitabuhu. This is for huwa. Kitabuha. For hiya. Right? Kitabuhum. Kitabuhunna. And kitabahuma. You see how these are connected? It's a dhamir, but it's a dhamir of jar because it's mudafun ilayhi. It's connected to this word here. All right? Similarly, if we took a harf jar and we connected it to huwa, like let's say ila huwa. I went to him. Do you say ila huwa? No, these two together would make, you take this hat for huwa, ilay, he. You see why? Because it's a dhamir of harf jar, right? or it's a dhamir of jar. It's been affected by the harf jar. This one, if you put ila in front of huwa, it can't stay as raf' anymore. It has to switch over to this side. And the dhama'ir may confuse you, but once you get them, they're actually quite easy because they follow a set system. Let's take the rest over here. Now, all this was brought up because of anta and kum and halukum. So now we have a dhamir, nasb or jar. And they'll look the same. Whether it's mansoob or majroor, they'll look the same. So if you say, is this mansoob or majroor? It's the same thing. Okay? Anta. What happens when you say his book? You would say kitabu. I'm sorry, not his book, your book. And you're speaking to him. Kitabu. Well, the bat is missing. Kitabuka. Kaf. You add kaf if it belongs to something. So here, if something is being possessed, somebody owns it, or something is happening to it, or is mudafun ilay, is going to end in kafs here if you're talking to them. All these taz, tum, antum, ti, kat, all of them are going to change to kafs. Kitabu, ki. Kitabu, kum. You see, this was antum. We took that meme, we brought it over. This ta, tahawwala ila, tahawwala, it changed to kaf. Kitabukum. And lastly, over here, you have kitabu. This one, what do you think is going to happen? It was a ta here. Over here, it will change to be a kaf. Kitabukuma. Instead of tuma, kuma. Wa akhiran. If something is happening to me, or it belongs to me, or belongs to us, it is going to change to adding a ya. Kitabi. Or kitabuna. هذه الضمائر. These ضمائر over here, right? They're متصلة, they're connected. So therefore, let me come over here on this side. These ضمائر here, they're connected. If something is happening to a person or a thing, and you're going to attach it, you're going to use these ones. Okay? You shouldn't say kitabu huwa. Khata. You shouldn't say kitabu ana to say my book. You're supposed to add kitabi. All right? So these are, if something is mudafun ilay, if it's being possessed, like it's being owned, or if something is happening to it, you'll use these dhama'ir. For these dhama'ir, okay, you don't want to also say dhahaba anta. You would just say dhahabta. Okay? If you put that before, if you're going to attach a verb to who's doing it, you're going to attach it with these. Dhahab, let's start with this. Dhahabta, dhahabti, dhahabtum, dhahabtunna. And over here, dhahabtuma. Oh, I'm sorry, not dhahabtuma. Dhahaba. But again, we're not going to take that one just yet. Over here, you're going to say dhahabtu and dhahabna. But if they aren't doing a verb, or they're not doing an action, then you're just going to use the actual dhamir itself. You would say huwa, and then you can say dhahaba. Hiya, ذهبت. هم ذهبوا. And you see how that works all the way through. أنت ذهبت. أنا ذهبت. So make sure that you study this chart really well. You can use different verbs that you might know and match them up, and it will be quite helpful for you. So we're going to go ahead, inshallah, and stop there. The last sentence that we took was Alhamdulillah, or أنا بخير والحمد لله. كيف حالكم من أنتم. Antum is the equivalent of how they say here in the South, y'all, you all. We don't have that really in English, where when you're speaking to a group of people, you would just act like you're speaking to one person. So if you're speaking to a group, you say, how are you doing? You would have to actually add the word all. How are you all doing? Okay? And if it belongs to one person, or if it belongs to a group of people, you can't say, is this y'all's book? They say that here in the South. But you would say, is this your book? Singular for everyone. But in Arabic, it says it belongs to everyone. So it's actually the equivalent of saying like that. نكتفي بهذا القدر ونقول اللهم علمنا ما ينفعنا وانفعنا بما علمتنا وزدنا علما وإلى اللقاء والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.